Now, Oluwafemi John Adebayo, thank you so much for joining us to discuss this very important.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. Now, we understand that the APC secured 12 contenders. Seat, the House seats in Kaduna, Jigawa, Ogun, as well as Edo, and even several state assembly positions. Now, it's now beginning to seem like a one-party state at the end of the day. You know that there have been speculations about, the one-party rule, whether or not we're still going to have the multi-party system, which equals democracy. What is your take on that?
Well, I think election is a contest. I think election is a process of competition where people put forward what they think in terms of their manifesto, what they want to do for the people. As for by-elections, which is majorly and predominantly legislative process, where people talk about how they represent their constituent, deeply, and give them quality representation at the seat of power, the National Assembly or the state houses of assembly. And by and large, election has come and gone. I think for me, it's the aspect of what went down in the elections, right? Whichever party that claims victory in the elections, it's all about what actually went down in the elections. How did they claim the victory? How did the process? How is it transparent? How is it credible? Now, if at the end of the day, every single Nigerians or voter, right, regarding this particular process can say that, oh, these elections, they are free, fair, and credible, then whosoever or whatsoever party or which of the parties that claimed victory, for me, it doesn't matter. It shows that that's what the people wanted. But the question then becomes, in the last by-elections, the 16th August by-elections, the question still remains where can citizens, can Nigerians lay claim that the elections were utterly transparent? Was it free? Was it fair? Was it credible? I think for me, that will be the question. That will be what it is. So in terms of dominance of a single party, I think it's all about our political culture. I think it's all about how the polity in Nigeria has been, or is going to evolve going forward, right? To just speak specifically to the aspect of the dominance of a single party in elections or in system of governance, where there have been conversation around one party state and the likes. For me, I think it's a thought on the fact that a single party state will most likely not be the best for a democracy in a time like this in Nigeria. So if you look at some of the indices that have happened, for instance, for the ruling party, there has been so much claim on the fact that, the ruling party is even using the instrument of the state to coerce the people. There have been thoughts like that. There have been people that are making such a comment. But for me, the question still remains, in terms of the opposition, how are they strong? How are they putting their house in order to be strong enough to be able to actually play the role of an opposition, which Nigeria also needs critically? Because both the citizens, the civil society, need to
interrupting. Yeah, I just want to find out. It's one thing for the other parties to put their house in order, right? But it's another thing for the people, the citizens that actually matter the most in this equation, to perceive a one-party system, which will then equal voter apathy. So do you think that we're looking at a worst case of voter apathy come 2027 because people already have speculations and are even perceiving the possibility of one-party ruling?
All indices in our elections from 2003 has been showing a downward trend of voter participation. And if you look at it across all of the obstacles, as we move into obstacle elections based on year by year basis, voter turnout continue to reduce. I can say based on data to forecast in terms of voter turnout in 2027 is going to be lower than what we have in 2023, which is really abysmal. 2023 is about 26%. And if we're going towards 2027, and all indices and data are actually showing that it will be lower, that means we're looking at something around maybe a bit above 20% or maybe 22, 23, which is not healthy. It's not showing a sign that our democracy is actually advancing or growing. Now, there are so much of things responsible for this. the first question we need to also ask ourselves is the credibility, I mean the quality of the voters register that we have. Just before we started this conversation, I heard, when you were talking about some of the processes of the elections, the CVR, I heard and I listened when you were talking about INEC had started CVR again, right, for the general, for the whole of the country, across the country. Now the question becomes this: as the register we have already, is it clean? Do we have a quality register that is not over bloated? What about the people that are no longer in Nigeria, that have relocated? Yes, they are Nigerians, but do we realize, or do we put the consciousness that we don't have diaspora voting at this moment in Nigeria, right? What about people that are going to be on essential duty on the election day? In 2023 alone, INEC as a commission, as an institution of the state, deployed over 1.5 million Nigerians that are eligible voters, but because they are on essential duty, the duty...
Okay, Oluwafemi, unfortunately we're losing your audio, but thank you so much for your pivotal contribution to this very important discourse. And like I always like to say, 2027 is around the corner, and we're going to see how this pans out. Thank you so much.